Hey guys, I'm Bob McClure. I'm a graduate of the Penn State Theater program, class of 2001. I graduated here, worked in theater, went to New York, now I'm back in Detroit.
I'm Lindsay Broad. I don't think I actually graduated till 2006, which is technically when the show started. But I was here, I think, through 2005, but I graduated. I finished school a year early and finished out my degree in New York City, and I have a BA in theater. And now I'm a working actress in New York and LA.
Hi, my name is Tom Woodley. I was a student in both the theater and film departments here. Graduated, I guess, would be 2000. And after doing the Burg and working in film, I had a fairly long career in advertising, and I'm now working at a company called Electus, which is a TV and digital studio with a bunch of shows on TV.
I'm Matt Yeager. I was a BA theater student, left in '99. Now I'm living near New York City, and I'm a comedy writer and video editor, filmmaker, and actor when I cast myself.
I'm Jeff Scowron. I was a BA theater. I graduated sometime in the, late 90s. Now I'm an actor and writer living in LA.
So The Burg was the first full-length scripted sitcom online. It came out first in 2006, summer of 2006, and early days of YouTube. So it was too long to go on YouTube, so we ran it on our own site in addition to YouTube. And it was the first real big web hit for scripted sitcom. It ran for about a year and a half to 2 years, sort of intermittently. And it for a large part sort of launched not only our own careers but the web series genre in itself.
I actually was fairly new to the city. I had met Matt because I had only lived in New York for a little while, and Mark Olson, who was an acting teacher here at the time, and I think now teaches at Juilliard, I think Matt was looking for somebody who could play a 12-year-old. And I looked really young, because I was fairly young. And so Matt had been referred through Mark to me, and then we did a fringe play together. And then through that, I came to this show. I didn't have representation at the time, and I hadn't even started really auditioning in New York. And I was hostessing at a restaurant that was like the restaurant at the time. It was the Waverly Inn. It was the Zeitgeisty restaurant. And it was Upfronts Week, and agents from CAA came in, recognized me from the Burg, told me to come to LA to take meetings, and I think I took like 20 meetings, and then ended up signing with a manager and moved to LA like 2 weeks later or something insane. So for me, it was the only thing I had, I think, other than like a weird short film I had done.
One of the things that was most shocking to me when we did the Burg was like the idea of shooting and editing our own thing was like unfathomable to me at the time. I was an actor. In fact, you guys asked me if I wanted to be a producer, and I was like, no, I don't want to deal with that stuff. So, but in that respect, after we did that, and then we wanted to do something else, so Jeff and I started doing a different show, Greg and Donnie, which is about Johnstown, PA, which is very close to here. But that's when I discovered that it was within reach to edit something that you filmed, and so for me that started that trajectory, and I've been doing that professionally for like the last 5 to 7 years.
One of the key components I really enjoyed was that we had the the lack of what I would call industry pressure to create something and have it. I did commercials for most of my career in New York, and you were under pressure to perform at an exceptionally, high rate to satisfy the client and the production team, and you had limited time. The budgets were very expensive. And here, we were all doing that. So we had, while we had to put out a product and we had to make it good, we were all working together, doing everything, and had the creative, I think, freedom to explore that, to make mistakes, work on getting better and improving over time. And I think you can really see it from the first episode of The Burg until where it went, just how it grew and how we matured as actors, producers, writers, as the scripted work did.
Penn State was the first time I lived away from home. So that was like a whole new thing. And I mean, I had good acting teachers here. So yeah, it's nice to be back here. I mean, I had some really good acting teachers that you know, because I started working when I was a kid, and I, you know, learned through experience and good directors. But here's where, you know, I had Manuel Duque was my acting teacher here, and he was terrific.
Well, the Burg wouldn't have happened if
Right.
not for Penn State,
Right.
of
Yeah.
course. And if not for Tom and I being in a writing class together. I mean, college is when I started writing. And, you know, I learned pretty quickly that it was relatively easy for me to write comedy. I mean, did all that stuff at Outlaws. Like, Outlaws is probably one of the most influential things on my development, because we just did it every Thursday night, and it was all self-motivated. You had to do a new play every week, and so it's kind of exactly the state of mind you need to have in order to do a self-funded web series, certainly.
You know, the foundational building blocks that we learned here, when you're in theater, when you're in film and TV, it can feel like everything's happening, you know, to you, and you're so out of control. And if you don't have a set of, you know, an understanding of how to create that on your own, you can feel lost. But Penn State provided that kind of an understanding and education and a foundation for us to work on.